This week on HomeKit News, the Ikea Skydrag cabinet strip for HomeKit. So today's product is a cabinet strip called Skydrag from Ikea, and if you're familiar with Ikea smart home products, you'll know they need their own hub to be exposed to HomeKit. You're also going to need a Trådfri driver and power supply in order for this to work, but previously you would also need a steering device, although thankfully this is no longer required. In many countries, Skydrag comes in 3 lengths, although in the US you get 4 length options: 12, 18, 22 and 24 inches. Skydrag also comes in a black finish too. So let's first have a look at what's in the box. You get the manual, of course, a couple of extension brackets, the strip itself, some tracking for the cable, a couple of angle brackets, some adhesive strips for the tracking, a couple of clamps, 4 screws, and finally a Torx drill bit. The 3 sets of brackets I showed you offer different types of placements, so the extension brackets can be used to place the strip a bit further out with an overhang, whilst the standard brackets are for use under a kitchen cabinet, for example. Let's have a closer look at the strip, starting with the connector which attaches to the Trådfri driver. I've got a 10-watt driver for the US here, although you can use the 30-watt driver if you want to connect multiple strips. You can see how easily the connector fits into one of these 3 ports. I'm actually using the cable from a mid-led downlight in this case, hence the black connector, but it's essentially the same. The cable itself is quite long, so good enough for most use cases, and the strip has its own diffuser along with what appears to be a motional proximity sensor. Word of warning, I could not get this to work reliably at all, and so you won't be seeing me using this in the installation. Onto the installation, and I'm going to be placing this in a wardrobe which currently does have a light solution and trigger device installed. However, due to the poorly thought out installation, this only works if the power is turned on via a switch located elsewhere, which also turns on a separate strip, whether I need it or not, so it has to go. I'm not using the clamps as they're a little bit too wide for the valance, but it works really well using the standard brackets, and I've also fitted the tracking to keep the cable tidy. To trigger the strip, I've installed a couple of sensors, one from Media and one from Ikea, so that the light comes on when either of the doors are opened. Speaking of which, here's a quick test to see how the sensors and strip work together, and as expected it all works great. Any HomeKit sensor will do, of course, but I find the Zigbee ones are very fast. I wouldn't recommend Bluetooth sensors, so your other alternative is a thread sensor like the ones available from Eve. Onto the Apple Home app now, and you get the one tile as seen here. Long pressing on the tile opens up the slider control, which shows this is only capable of warm white. Looking in more detail, you can see in the automation section I've set up a series of automations for both of the sensors. These ensure the strip is set to different brightness levels depending on the time of day or night. So 60% brightness between 6:30 AM and 8 AM, for example. Onto the pros and cons now, and it's good to get a choice of sizes as well as a black or white option. So that's a small but good start. When it comes to the places and ways you can install this, I have to give it to Ikea for providing the means to achieve such things. Whilst fitting a light strip could be a cheaper option, you don't get the diffuser parts, and who really needs colour in a wardrobe? So I think this is quite a simple and budget-friendly option. Now, I'm not the best at DIY by any means, but this was really easy to install, so if I can fit this, pretty much anyone can. It would have been nice to get cool and warm whites, but it's honestly not that big a deal for use in a wardrobe, although in a kitchen cabinet it might be more useful. The only con is the built-in sensor, which I was hoping would be a good backup in case the HomeKit automations failed. However, it just wouldn't perform consistently enough for me to rely on, so that's a real negative. Other than that, I do like the Ikea stuff, and this works really well for my use case. That's our quicker than usual take on the Skydrag cabinet light strip, but if you have any comments or questions, leave them below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, stay safe and drink lots of water. It's hot out there. Well, it is here.